Hey guys, it's Kate, and in this speed build I'm building a family mansion on a 50 by 50 lot in Willow Creek. It was a lot of fun to build this, I have to say. My last two builds had a heavy focus on StrangerVille, and StrangerVille is very awesome when it comes to building, at least. I can't say much about all the other aspects of it, but it was a lot of fun to build two StrangerVille builds. And I really enjoyed it, and I was looking forward to that pack so much when they announced it, and I wasn't disappointed. But I have to say it's kind of always a little different when you build something that has a focus on a certain pack, so it's kind of, you're not as free as usual, so you kind of build something that fits to the pack and into the whole theme, and I really enjoyed that. But I have to say that it was also a lot of fun to just build whatever, basically. So I felt like building a very scenic, quaint family mansion. It looks suburban, but it's far too huge and luxurious to be a typical suburban build. It's like a perfect little suburban mansion had a chart with a tacky McMansion, and now we have this, and this is not even its final form. No, but seriously, I just want to add lots of roofs and double gable roofs and all that, which is why I said McMansion, even though it's not. I mean, people hate McMansions, so I don't want to say that this is a McMansion. They have such a bad reputation, and probably for a very good reason, because McMansions don't have a lot to do with proper, beautiful architecture. But this is like I don't know, just like my family dream home almost. I really love this. It's just so beautiful. And this house has 4 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. And one of the bedrooms is a ensuite, so the master bedroom has a bathroom directly attached to it. And for the exterior, I decided to combine different type of windows. I used some of the windows that came with StrangerVille. I attached them at the top of the roofs, for example, the dark brown ones. But I also used a lot of stuff that is part of Get Together, because I just love these beautiful windows with the shutters. They're just beautiful. And as always, I decided to use lots of shelves. And another thing that's part of StrangerVille that I decided to use here is the little roof decoration that I placed all around at the edges of the roof. I mean, I used some stuff that is part of the pack, but still felt like building something freely without having to focus on anything, just using anything. So I just kind of combined it all. And I also used the door that is part of StrangerVille, and this little roof that I placed over the window. It belongs to Get Famous, so I just kind of mixed it all together. It's always fun to combine different things from different packs, and sometimes you don't even expect for some stuff to really go so well together, but then it's kind of surprising, and you can create some kind of completely new look by just combining stuff. And here I decided to use some chimneys as some type of column. I think that these are really crucial for this type of look. I mean, at first I wasn't sure if this is kind of working out, the whole look that I was going for. But after adding lots of details, and you guys know that I just love details, it kind of all came together, and I really enjoyed how it looked. I added these pink flowers on the exterior, the white flowers that are part of Jungle Adventure, and just lots and lots of details. And after a while, I just started to see that it kind of makes sense and that I really want to keep going. Before that, I had started to work on another build, but I didn't really like how it turned out, so I just kind of deleted that, and this was that. So sometimes I never know what happens. A lot of people ask me like how I approach a build or where I find my inspiration, and I have to say most of the time I just start to build and I see what happens, and very often nothing really happens, and I just don't like how a build looks, and then I just delete it and I start over. And sometimes I start building and it's like I immediately like it and it's a lot of fun to build this, but sometimes it's just not working out. And something that I noticed for me personally, sometimes I have a specific style in mind and I really want to nail that and start to build, and it's not looking like that at all, and it's not working out. But then like a couple of months later, I want to build something completely different, and suddenly out of the blue it does look like the thing that I wanted to build a couple of months ago, but I couldn't nail it. It's like so random. For example, the Mediterranean build, I tried something similar before and it didn't really work out that way, and then it kind of worked. I don't know, it's weird sometimes. It just happens, I guess. So just in my personal experience, as soon as I'm too focused on a certain kind of look, it sometimes doesn't work out. I mean, sometimes it does, but sometimes it really doesn't. So I would advise to just be free and do whatever you like. And here I decided to build a curved path. For this I just used rounded foundation pieces. I placed them And then I added a fence. I think it just looks so cute and it looks just so unique and kind of out of place because we don't have round object in The Sims. We don't have any round rods. So I think that a curved path is definitely an eye catcher. And I also made a tutorial about this in the past. I'm going to link the playlist down below so you can check it out in case you want to know how to build this yourself. It's very easy. You really just have to place the foundations, but it kind of depends how you place them in what kind of position. So in the tutorial I explained this, so you have a beautiful curved shape. And then I expanded the path just so it leads to the back and your Sims can enter the garden by following this path. So the front yard kind of has two sections. There is a section on the left side and a section on the right side, and one section can be entered from the back. I also decided to build a round flower bed. For this I used a debug object, the infamous base game debug brick. This is what I call it. I have still no idea what this is even supposed to be, but it's a base game debug object and you can place it to create some beautiful looking round flower beds. You can also use it to create a curved path if you don't want to use the method that is using foundation pieces. So there are basically endless possibilities. I just like to size them up a little bit because by default they are a little bit small for this kind of look in my opinion. So you just size them up and then you just place them, and when you press Alt you can rotate objects freely and also place them freely. So it's very easy to kind of create a custom round shape. This is like the cool thing about this. When you're working with foundations, you are kind of limited in what you can do with them because they kind of have their shape and you can place them in certain ways. But with the base game debug brick, let's just call it that, you can really do whatever you like. And in the front I created some type of small custom pillar using a tombstone and a chimney, and I placed some lamps on top. I was talking about the curved path where I was building it, but I just wanted to quickly explain this. And here I'm using roof pieces, a round roof that I just made completely flat. I added a roof color that has a dark brown, so it kind of looks like soil. And then I just placed a tree in the center and added some flowers, and this way I have a beautiful, again, round flower bed. I just kind of felt inspired to combine all these different things in one build for whatever reason. I just think that all these things go so well for a build like this. And here I am starting to work on the back. I decided to build a pretty classic backyard. I mean, this house is like such a typical beautiful family home, so I felt like a backyard is kind of a must. Sometimes I go overboard with other terrain and the landscaping, so sometimes there isn't even enough space for a proper backyard, but in this case, I don't know if you've noticed, but I didn't use any terrain tools for this. This is like the second time after I started to work with them on a regular basis. Like the second time that I didn't use them. The first time was my small modern build, the compact modern house. So I don't know, kind of surprised myself with this, but I had a pretty solid vision for this when it comes to the landscaping part. I knew that I would like to include a curved path in this and the flower bed. So I don't know, for some reason I then decided to not use any terrain at all, but I really enjoy how this turned out. I love the terrain tools. I love to create unique builds with them, and I feel like even a regular home, a regular house can look very unique and extremely special when you use the terrain tools. But sometimes I don't know, have to get the terrain tools out of my system basically and have to build something else, so the next time I'm building with them it's a lot of fun again. And now I'm starting to work on the interior, and I have to say, I don't know what you guys think, leave a comment down below, but this is like my favorite kitchen, the best kitchen that I've ever built maybe. I try to improve my interiors and I really try to make this look kind of unique and cool. I divided the room with a wall because I had a tendency to build huge kitchens, and this room itself is really big, but because of the wall that kind of divides it all, I didn't use like a ton of counters, and I was going for a rustic yet kind of modern and edgy look. Because of all the black, it kind of reminds me of a kitchen that I could totally see in some kind of New York brownstone house, but it still goes well with the exterior and the whole theme of the house because it has this rustic vibe, and the dark wood on the floor kind of makes it very homey and warm. So I was kind of going for a combination, and I don't know if I placed a bin here, but if I forgot, let me tell you, there will be a bin in the final version in case you want to download this lot. And as you can see, the chimneys are kind of bugging inside the wall, but I just kind of integrated them into the kitchen layout. I used a shelf to kind of hide the top section, and I used these white marble accent tables to fill in the gaps, so there's a surface over the whole wall where you can place something. And I decided to add some beige here and there, so there's like some type of warm brown again to add some warmth. And I don't know, I just like this kitchen so much, maybe because I really enjoy this type of style personally. As I said, I could totally see this in some type of brown stone. I also added a bar on the other side, and this is also where I'm going to add a coffee machine. So this is kind of like the section where you grab a drink or a coffee. And I then added some blue details just so there's a little bit of color here and there, a little pop of color, which is always cool. And I also decided to add a dining table to this room just so there's enough space inside the kitchen so Sims can quickly grab something to eat and sit down. But I'm also going to build a proper dining room because this house is just so big that there was just enough space, and I always feel like for a kind of mansion it always makes sense to have a separate dining room if you want to have some guests over, entertain some guests, I don't know, always makes sense. And you just have to kind of fill the space because there's just so much room. And these black counters that I used for this kitchen are actually part of the base game. And this is the living room, and I'm also kind of living for the living room, I have to say, no pun intended. I really love how this turned out. I was going for a very warm, inviting, cozy look. This is kind of like a formal living room where you could again entertain some guests. I mean, it doesn't matter that much in The Sims, but there is no TV. I created a separate room for this. This is just really a fireplace and somewhere to sit, and I love these bookshelves. The bookshelf is part of StrangerVille, so if you haven't looked into StrangerVille yet, there are many new objects that are also cool for very classic Gothic revival, Carpenter revival kind of builds, and this bookcase is just so beautiful for any kind of classic interior, in my opinion. I have fallen in love with this bookshelf, I have to say. So this is just like a very warm and cozy family room where your Sims can hang out. I also added a computer there. There will be a separate office, but I mean, this is a big house and potentially they're going to live a lot of Sims, so I kind of wanted to make sure that there are enough computers and just enough space. Doesn't make sense to just have one desk and one computer in the office where you have like 6 Sims living in this house, for example. And this is the bathroom. All bathrooms in this house have this type of design. I also didn't record building all bathrooms because they are basically the same when it comes to the style. So this is the style that I was going for, a mix of a cool gray in combination with this very light warm brown. Again, it looks kind of rustic but still kind of has a modern appeal to it in a way, but I would say that the whole interior seems very inviting and kind of rustic and classic without being old-fashioned. And this is the TV room. I decided to use a lighter color on the walls and the dark floor again, but I was using more of the white objects like the white bookshelf and just the accent table and different things, and then I combined some darker brown with it to have a contrast. And again, I was making sure that it looks very warm and cozy and inviting. I used some candles to kind of further make it look this way, and a piano. So there are all kinds of different things. This interior is just, there's so much going on because of the many rooms, and there is so much space. As I said earlier, there are plenty of bedrooms, so if you want to let your Sims move in, there is just so much space. And if you want to download this lot, as always, it's available in the gallery. It's fully furnished, and I'm going to include all the information down below. I'm also going to include screenshots from the top so you kind of you can see the floor plan, because as I said, I didn't record every single room because it would be a little bit repetitive, the bathrooms and all that. So there will be screenshots of the floor plan in the end, so you really get an overview of what's going on, because even if it's a smaller build and I record all rooms, it's still good to kind of have an overview, because it can get really confusing. Even if you watch how each and every room is built and furnished, it kind of gets confusing really fast with speed builds in my opinion. So having a little overview is always good probably. And this is the dining room. I added a little bar again, and I combined dark colors with a lot of light brown. This is kind of like a theme that I used almost for every room. I was working with these contrasts, but very earthy, natural, warm colors. And the same goes for the office. Basically, it's a huge office. I also included an easel and a chess table, so it's kind of the room where your Sims can kind of improve their skills and all that. Of course, you could also add some other stuff depending on what your Sims are learning and what they are doing in their daily life. I always love to have a Sim that is painting. It's such a simple career because your Sims can just do it at home, and when they paint a masterpiece, you can sell it, and it's like easy money for your Sims basically. And I like that they are like around at home, and they can also work on some other stuff, but at the same time it can be really annoying when you have like toddlers, especially toddlers. Like when you have one Sim that is looking after the toddlers, and then your other Sim is kind of, let's say, painting a picture or something, and then the toddler just wants something, and you basically can't stop your Sim from checking on the toddler, which is just so cute and like realistic, because when something's wrong with the toddler, you kind of look after the toddler, of course, but like I wish you could kind of assign Sims to like taking care of a kid or a toddler, so the other Sim can just mind their own business and work on something and being busy at home or something, because it's after it's not that realistic, because when you're working at home in your home office, then you kind of like you are working, you don't take care of other stuff that much, you really focus on work, just like you would do in your workspace when you are leaving your house for work, for example. So it would be cool if we could just, I don't know, just shut off Sims from the rest. Of course you could lock doors, but I think they would probably still get the interaction that they want to look after the toddler, right? I don't know, but I sometimes can't even really stop this interaction, and they just want to look after their toddler. Again, very cute, but sometimes very annoying in this game. And this is the master bedroom. I was going for a very, very warm look here. I used these burgundy red curtains and a dark wall color. I placed the mirrors in the center just so it kind of looks cool. I didn't want to place a picture on each wall, so this is kind of like how I filled this wall by just placing some mirrors. They are part of Spa Day and they are illuminated, which just looks so cool in my opinion. And here on this wall there's no window because the roof is right behind it, so I felt like it's just like the perfect place to place a bed and a picture above, so there is no window in the way, and it's a very big master bedroom. When I build big master bedrooms, I always like to include a area where you can kind of sit, so there's a little space and a bathroom is directly attached. And then for one of the bigger kids rooms, I decided to not divide it into two, but to have one big cute kids room that has two beds in it. So this is like some type of twin bedroom. Of course, these Sims don't have to be like proper twins, but I kind of had twins in mind when I designed this, so they can kind of live and sleep together in this room. It's really big, and I again sectioned off a part of the wall and painted it very colorful and added these cute butterflies, so that it's just for some twin girls or something. It's just such a cute room in my opinion. There are two other kids rooms in this build. You can see it in the screenshots and in the floor plan, and I think they all turned out so cute. It's always so much fun to build kids rooms in my opinion, because it's also colorful and fun. So this is it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. You can here see the floor plan, so you can see all the different rooms, because I didn't record everything in room, as I said. You can see all the individual kids rooms here and where I placed the bathrooms. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and I hope that I see you in the next video. Bye bye.